to A Bevy of Bevins. I'm Mel Bevan and this is my journey, and I just thought I'd love to share it with you guys. So I'm a homeschooling mum of 6, a Christian homeschooling mum of 6. God is very important to me and to my family and the way we school, but that's not what this video is all about. This is about my journey as a mother, as a homeschooling mother, as a wife, but also my journey for me, and I thought I'd love to share that with you. So, like I said, I have 6 children. They age and range from 16 to 7, and we started this journey 6 years ago for homeschooling, and we've loved it, but that doesn't mean it's always been easy or that it suits every family. So I thought today I might share with you the top 5 tips for beginning homeschooling, some that I wished others had shared with me, some that people did share with me, and intermingle that a little bit with my own journey about our decision to start homeschooling. Please comment below, or if you have any questions or suggestions. So this video series is going to be real life. You'll probably see my kids pop in and out. They like to know what's going on. I will show you how to do things. We'll talk about our life, curriculum choices, what we do, games we play, how we homeschool. I'll show you around our house, and we'll have some conversations about my personal journey as well. So let's get started. I guess my first tip is that your decision to homeschool is that it is your decision, and you are going to be asked 1,000 questions by probably that many people, trying to justify how you're going to do it. How are you going to school? Do you need a degree? What are you going to teach them? Won't they be behind? And of course the socialisation question. How are they going to be social? Well, let me just tell you, from the beginning of time, kids are social, and it doesn't matter if they're at school or not. They gravitate towards other children. And as for the social question, often we spend more time saying no to invitations to go out than we do otherwise. We're always busy. But like I said, my tip is that it's your decision. You don't need to feel pressured to change it or bullied into that it's a bad decision. If you're already here, I'm guessing that you've spent some time making this decision. That wasn't just a, oh, let's do this sort of thing. So you don't have to justify your decision, but you do need to know why you are doing it, because there will be hard times, and when those hard times come, you need to fall back on why you started. So for us, our journey began when our then 6-year-old, who was at a state-run school, came to us one day and said that she wanted to be homeschooled. Now, I didn't really know much about homeschooling. I'd never thought of doing it, but I did have a friend who was homeschooling her 4-year-old, well, was planning to. And so we started talking to her about what it meant to homeschool. We started praying about that decision. And as we were moving towards that, I started to join our local homeschooling group. I went online and looked at forums and really kind of tried to suss out what homeschooling would mean. I learned very early on that homeschooling is not schooling at home, that there's a difference. And that difference was really what drew us to pursuing this further. My husband and I had a conversation about what would we want our children's education to be if we could choose. And so one of the things we said is that we wanted our children to be part of the community, but also to have a good and solid reading, writing, maths, academics. We wanted them to be out playing lots, because we thought children should be out in their nature and not just sitting behind desks. We wanted to tailor their education to what they needed, so give extra work for those of our children who needed more challenges, but also to slow pace down for those who actually needed that slowing down as well, and to re-go over things. We didn't want them to be just caught up in running the middle of, you have to keep up with all your classmates, and either it's too slow or it's too fast. We wanted education to be tailored to them. We wanted it to be grounded in family for us, spending time together and not rushing around. We didn't want our family life to be only what happened at the end of the day when everyone was tired. We didn't want family to get the worst of each other. And also, as quite a strong thing. We wanted God to be a focus in our family, and we wanted to teach our children biblical truths and character development that we felt was important. So that's why we decided to do it. We had lots of people ask us how we could homeschool different kids, but did I have a teacher's degree? And although we tried to answer politely, it really came back to that this was our decision and we stood by it and we owned it. But on those hard days, we come back to going, we wanted school to be fun and different, and are we doing that, or have we got bogged down? So that's my first tip. My second one is that it can seem very overwhelming at first. When you decide, once you've made that decision, then you can go onto the internet, and with a few clicks of the keyboard, you can discover 1,000 different curriculums. Free ones, expensive ones, run-of-the-mill ones, middle ones, ones that follow standard curriculum, ones that follow Christian curriculum, secular curriculum. You can follow ones that have day-to-day plans or a weekly plan, or you can have you can do unit studies, you can do Montessori style, you can do unschooling, and it becomes overwhelming. I remember when I went to my first homeschooling conference and I hadn't started homeschooling. I just wanted to get a sense of it, and apart from feeling totally encouraged that there were other people on this journey, there were about 140 women at the conference in New Zealand, and to feel like I wasn't travelling it alone was amazing. But then there was a second-hand curriculum sale and some vendors were there as well, and I was so overwhelmed. And I remember someone telling me, just don't look at half of it. And I think that's some advice I'd give to you as well, is take it one step at a time, but also it's okay to start and not have it right. It's not, you don't need the perfect curriculum to start off with. You don't need to have it understood. You can change curriculum quite easily. You can on-sell it easy enough. You can even often download samples, so a chapter or a unit or a lesson, and you can see if that's something you want to look into. You can talk to other people who you might know who can show you a physical copy. Sometimes seeing what it actually is helps. But you're not tied in stone to your curriculum choices that you make, so don't feel overwhelmed. And for little ones, you can start very basically with some books and copy work, with simple maths and games, and that's all you need. Which runs on to my third tip, which is figure out how you want to homeschool or how you want to do school. So what's important to you, and how do you want to incorporate that? Do you like playing games? So do you want to make games a part of your homeschooling? Is it important that your children do book work? Do you feel like you need a curriculum that's laid out word by word so you feel like you're not missing anything? Do you want to have a child-led school where you do a unit studies based on your children's interest? So when we started, we used a program that was very written down. I felt like I didn't know enough and I didn't want to be missing something. So we used a literature-based curriculum or living books, and it was word for word written down. We'd go through read alouds, we did language arts and maths and science, and we did history, and it was all followed a formula, and it worked for us. As we have progressed in our homeschooling journey, some of those things have changed. I feel more confident making those decisions about what my children need. But also, one of the things we discovered was my style of teaching and my children's style of learning. So you'll hear things like mastery and spiral learning, and well, I'm actually going to do a whole new another video about curriculum and stuff, so we'll go into that a bit more detail. But don't get bogged down by the big words and the confusing ideas, but really just think about how you want to homeschool and focus on that. If it doesn't work, you really can change. It's pretty easy to decide, actually, I don't like this curriculum, I don't want to do curriculums, I want to find something else. So yeah, but take some time figuring out what you enjoy and what you want to teach. One of the things we wanted to focus on was reading good books, and so that is a big part of our homeschooling journey. We spend time on the couch. We have something called Morning Basket, and if you read Pam Barnhill, you'll know about her, and I'm going to actually do another video a bit later on about morning baskets and might show you a few of our different morning baskets. But the idea is gathering at the start of the day, spending some time as a group together, And we do it by reading. We have a devotion, or we read a Bible of some description. We learn a memory verse, we read stories. Currently we're reading Farmer Boy by Laura Ingalls. We might play a game, we might read some other picture books that focus on a topic we might be doing later in the day. So that's how we focus on literature. Some days also we cancel most of school and cuddle up on the couch and read chapters of books. My children love the Boxcar Children, and we have spent many hours reading the Boxcar Children. So, tip 4, figure out how you want to school and what you want your school to be, or what you want your kids' education to be like. And my 4th tip, which for me is one of my most important things that I wish I knew at the beginning, was don't compare your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. What you see on Pinterest and Facebook, they're the best of someone's day, and it's really easy to get caught up in it. I don't have such a great schoolroom, my kids don't listen to me, I don't have the best curriculum, I don't understand maths, and all these other people have it together and they know what they're doing and they've got it down and they're doing it really well. Well, you only see what they want you to see, and I can guarantee that everybody has bad days. Everybody has days where things aren't going right, where the kids don't listen, where the curriculum isn't working, where you are tired, where you need a break. And so it's very important that you don't compare that to how you're feeling to what you see on Pinterest. It doesn't help. It just makes you feel like you're not doing a good job. And I don't think comparisons are how God wants us to live either. He made us in his image as who we are, and we don't need to compare that to someone else. And I say that, but it's still a journey that I'm on as well. So, and my last tip would be to have support, especially to be on the same page with your spouse or someone else who's regularly involved in your children's life, grandparents, a carer, aunties, friends. You need to have someone in your corner, because sometimes it can get tough, and sometimes people can ask questions and you can feel like you're being judged for this decision. And so it's really important to know you've got someone in your corner, someone saying, hey, we can do this, this is a good thing, you can do it, you're doing well. But also someone to chat about the day with, someone to suggest where to from here, the next step, how to help your child who's struggling with reading, or to celebrate the exciting things I've learnt. Often we'll do projects and then we show Dad or Nana and Granddad when they come over, and getting others excited about what your kids are learning. And just as a side note, we also, it's really interesting when people question my children about homeschooling, and just their positive remarks, and that they don't let it faze them, that they actually really like being homeschooled. So I would encourage you from now and then to ask your children how they feel about it, because mostly they love it. So my top 5 tips are those. So it's your decision. You don't have to justify it, but you do need to know why you're doing it. It can be overwhelming. Take one step at a time. Figure out how you want to educate your children in school, what's important and what's not. Don't compare yourself to your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel, and find support. So I hope you join me in my journey. I'd love to hear your top tips. If you have any questions, please ask them. I will do my best to answer them. Thanks for joining me.